Joining us now, Brian Cannon. Brian of One Virginia 2021. Great to have you with us, Brian.
Morning, John. Glad to be on, man. It's a good day.
Okay, now it should be. Now this, your bill, which was I rated as a long shot coming into this thing because the Democrats, I didn't think you could get them to vote for it. Like the Republicans have gerrymandered. Now they were going to get the gerrymander and the hell with the people. But you got this done. Explain what happened with your redistricting bill, which is nonpartisan in the way it should be. How'd you get it done? What happens next?
So on Saturday evening, the bill passed the Senate 40-0 and the House 83-15. So we didn't just squeak this thing by. We ran up the score a little bit, and that's really good to hear. The next step is working to pass it again next year, which I think should be easier, though who knows with what our politics are doing right now. And also to add in some additional enabling legislation, just code changes that make it more open, more transparent, more citizen involvement, and kind of clearer rules that keep our localities together. Because you shouldn't have these cities, counties, and towns split up 7 ways to Sunday. We got to keep them together. So we got more to do, but this was a huge first victory, and I couldn't be more thrilled.
Now, Brian, your organization, One Virginia 2021, remember when you were on Friday at the Speaker's office, the Republicans had inserted some language that really diluted the nonpartisan fairness aspect of your bill, trying to tie it to different results and things of that nature, but kind of just diluting the whole thing. But you got that stripped out, right?
Yeah, thank God. It's gone.
So basically, you pass this again in the 2020 House, which, look, 40-0 in the Senate, that's a done deal, right? They're not going to get 21 no votes. Yeah. And they only got 17 votes in the House, so no way this is not going to pass. So you do it again. It gets on the ballot as a constitutional amendment or a referendum?
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, constitutional amendment. And if it passes, which is going to pass with a huge margin, it will be on the November 2020 ballot, which will be the presidential election ballot with Trump and the Democrat and Warner and the Republican. Going to be a big turnout. You guys will pass that. And then when is it actually implemented?
So it starts, I think whatever the Tuesday is that's election day, I think like the next week is certification, and then it's done. Then it's certified, and it's it's part of Virginia's Constitution, and it's a good framework going forward. We'll get started right away, or have those people get started right away, and get them to get rolling and start to make this thing a reality. Now, our job then as an organization, and what we should all be doing as citizens, is being a watchdog on our government. And that's exactly the role we'll play, but it'll be a hell of a lot easier now that we've got these transparency provisions, open meetings, open data, all that stuff, and we'll be watching closely to make sure this goes as well as we hoped.
I'm excited for you guys. So it passes in November 2020. You certify it. When would we get a new map?
We'll get new maps probably that spring of 2021. Last decade, or this past cycle, we got maps. I think in late April is when they were passed and signed. So we'll get them late April, maybe early May.
Well, you've got to be excited about this, Brian. How long have you worked on this?
So our organization's 5 years old. I've been around. I've been the executive director of it for 4. And I was advocating for this when I was in law school and even before that. So it's been over a decade. It's really gratifying. And John, let me say, I can't thank you enough for your help, because you help getting people. This is a wonky issue that is easy to not care about, except when you realize how darn important it is. And you've helped us do that. So, John, thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. And I want to thank our listeners also. We got a lot of people out at various, those were the various meetings with George Allen we had, and you ran a pretty robust campaign here across our radio networks. We got a lot of people involved, and you're doing the right thing. And I think, for the first time, when this is said and done, we're going to get House and Senate maps for districts that are nonpartisan, that are not gerrymandered, that are not this or not that. and they're going to be what they were meant to be, which is basically contiguous block areas that from you go up from Virginia Beach and you go all the way down to, Radford and past that in Southwest Virginia, and there's going to be no shenanigans with it. And that is, I think, a breath of fresh air and might be the model nationally.
I think it really is. I've already had some national folks reach out to us and ask what was the secret sauce, and I tell them it had a lot to do with George Allen stepping forward. Governor Allen is awesome on this as well. So I think what we just did is going to hopefully happen. I'm looking at Maryland right next. They've got to do it there, but also North Carolina, Pennsylvania, other states. It's time to get this done.
I tell you what, you are the model of persistence and stick-to-itiveness, because I remember you've been calling up to get on my show for years, and of course, I've already told the story. The Republicans had a 67-33 majority, so I wanted nothing to do with a fair process. I wanted the Republicans to keep cheating because they had the advantage, so I was all for that, and I blew you off for a long period of time like a cheap suit in the rain. In fact, the only time I had you on was when I bumped into your wife, who had said, "When are you going to have my husband on?" And then I'm like, well,
she's so nice.
I know. And then I'll be like embarrassed. I'm like, okay, I'll get him on this week. You got to use everything you got, man.
Kelly's awesome.
I mean, it was tough when she would bump into me and say, "Hey, Kelly, how you doing? When are you going to have my husband on your radio show?" It's like, tomorrow? Thank you. So, so I
John,
blew
she's
you up.
in the other room laughing right now.
Tell her. I mean, ask her if that's not true. Every time you got on my show, because I don't want anything to do with redistricting, I wanted to keep cheating. And she would say, "Get my husband." Wasn't my husband coming on your show? So I was embarrassed. But you got to do whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes.
Hook or crook here, man. Hook or crook.
But really, a testament in persistence. It really is. You've been very persistent, and what you've got done now and what you've rolled out is good. I'm telling you, it's going to have national implications, because how do you argue with this? I mean, how do you argue with a fair process? So, like as you say in your ads, the politicians aren't picking their voters. The voters pick their politicians. That's basically it. So took a lot of things to happen. My hat's off to you, Brian.
John, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Say hi to your wife, Kelly, and John Fredericks Radio Network will